So what would happen if you took the street smarts of a trading legend and fused it with the brute force of modern data science? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're building a powerful new strategy by blending Jesse Livermore's timeless insights with the hard facts from nearly 6 million backtests. But let me ask you something first. That favorite trading strategy you use, the one you see everywhere, are you absolutely sure it's making you money? Or could it actually be a myth that's quietly draining your account? Let's find out. All right, let's kick things off by talking about one of the most popular indicators out there, the volume-weighted average price. You know, the VWAP. Now, this indicator is fascinating, mostly because it's wrapped up in a huge, and I mean huge, popular myth. And here's where the problem really starts. You see, there's a night and day difference between how the big institutions use VWAP and how retail traders do. For the pros, it's just a yardstick, a benchmark to see if they got a fair price on a huge order. But for so many retail traders, it's treated like this magical crystal ball that's supposed to predict the market's next move. And this belief leads to what is, without a doubt, the most common strategy you'll see on YouTube or in trading courses, the crossover. You've seen it. The idea seems so simple, right? Price moves above the VWAP line, you buy. Price drops below, you sell. It feels logical, but the million-dollar question is, does it actually work? To get a real answer, we can't rely on gut feelings or what some guy on the internet said. No, we have to look at the numbers. We need cold, hard data. And this is where a massive quantitative study enters the picture to put this whole idea to the test. And listen, when I say massive, I am not kidding. We're talking about a study that tested nearly 6 million, that's right, million different combinations. They looked at 10 different VWAP strategies, threw them at 34 different assets, and ran it all across 4 different time frames. This is about as thorough as it gets. So, after all of that, after running the famous crossover strategy through almost 75,000 different tests, how many times do you think it produced a real, statistically significant edge? The answer is right there. 0. A big, fat 0. Not once. The most popular retail VWAP strategy has literally no data to support it. None. And it gets worse. It's not just the crossover. The study found that a staggering 80% of the VWAP strategies that are commonly peddled to retail traders are either completely useless or they actually lose money over the long run. It's incredible. Okay, so if the popular modern stuff is a total bust, what do we do? Well, let's hit the rewind button. Let's go back about 100 years and listen to a true master of the markets, the legendary Jesse Livermore. He might have a clue for us. Livermore built his entire career on this one core concept, the pivotal point. Now for him, this wasn't just some line on a chart. It was a psychological moment. It was that perfect point in time where the pressure behind a move was so intense that it was practically guaranteed to follow through. And the secret, as he said, was having the patience to just wait for it. And that brings us to his other golden rule, and it's one he said was the absolute hardest to learn, the discipline of sitting tight. You know, being right about the direction is only half the job. Having the guts to actually hold on to your winning trade, to not get scared out by the noise, that, he said, is where the big money is made. Okay, so here's where it gets really cool. What happens when we take Livermore's century-old ideas about pivotal points and sitting tight, and we smash them head-on into the findings from our giant modern data study? Well, we get something totally new and incredibly powerful, the quantitative pivotal point. And wouldn't you know it, the data points us right to the answer. Take a look at this heat map. Out of all the strategies they tested, one of them is lit up in bright green. That's our winner. It's a strategy called mean reversion. It's just the simple idea that when price gets stretched way too far from its average, it tends to snap back. The data is clear. This strategy works. And it works best on the 4-hour chart. That's the signal in the noise. And this is the light bulb moment. This is where it all clicks together. Livermore was waiting for a psychological moment, an intuitive pivotal point. Our data gives us a statistical one. You can think of it like a rubber band. The 2 sigma bands are just a mathematical way of saying that rubber band has been stretched to its absolute limit and is about to snap back. He waited for a feeling. The data tells us exactly how far that stretches.
So what we have now is a brand new, powerful idea, the quantitative pivotal point. It's Livermore's brilliant intuition, but sharpened and defined by hard data. It's a signal that happens when price hits a statistical extreme, 2 standard deviations away from the VWAP, and it's most powerful on that 4-hour time frame. This is where old-school market wisdom finally meets modern proof.
But hold on, what about Livermore's other lesson? The one he said was so hard, the art of sitting tight. Well, it turns out the data has something pretty amazing to say about that too. It proves that patience isn't just some nice little virtue, it's literally where the profit is.
Just look at this chart. It's amazing. This proves Livermore's point beyond a shadow of a doubt. Each one of those bars shows how long a trade is held for. And do you see that pattern? The longer you hold the trade, the longer you sit tight, the stronger your statistical advantage actually gets. Patience literally pays.
So the huge takeaway here is that this is not a scalping strategy. This isn't about getting in and out for a few quick ticks. The real edge, the statistical advantage, only shows up when you have the discipline to hold that position and let the mean reversion effect do its job over 30, 60, even 90 bars.
Okay, let's boil this all down into 5 simple, actionable steps. Step 1, you focus only on the 4-hour time frame. That's where the signal is strongest. 2, you define your pivotal points using 2 sigma VWAP bands. That's your rubber band. 3, you patiently wait for the price to stretch out and touch one of those bands. 4, you enter a mean reversion trade betting on that snapback to the average. And 5, the hardest part, you sit tight. You hold that trade for at least 30 bars to let your edge play out.
We started this whole thing by asking if your favorite strategy was costing you money. I think we can say that for most of the popular VWAP strategies, the answer is a definite yes. But we didn't just debunk a myth. We built something better in its place, a strategy backed by a market legend and millions of data points. So I'll leave you with this. Now that you've seen what the data really says, are you ever going to look at your charts the same way again?